Good morning. Okay, I'm Sandi Stroud. I'm director of the Sustainable Real Estate Development Program here at Tulane. Ken gave you my intro. I've been working in development for the last 10 years. Prior to that, I worked for 10 years in architecture. I somehow managed to come back to New Orleans in the last couple years and started this conversation with Ken about this program that we're really excited about. And to give you a little background on what these real estate development programs are, there's about 20 plus of these programs around the country. They're one-year master's programs. It's a little different from an MBA. MBA programs are sort of the liberal arts degree of business. This is very much focused on real estate, and I'm a product of one of those programs. When we started talking about this program a few years ago, we wanted to figure out a way to make it viable, and with my background, obviously sustainability was a big part of this, and so ours is the Master of Sustainable Real Estate Development. It's the only one of its kind in the country. A lot of these programs have started entertaining the conversation about sustainability. We've really tried to weave it throughout the entire program, which I'll try to explain. There are a lot of definitions of what sustainability is. There's the 3 Ps, there's the 3 Es, there's the triple bottom line, there's the triple top line, there's the 3-legged stool. There's a million different definitions. We think it's a little more complicated than that. These real estate programs are collaborative programs, which is why they're really conducive to architecture, or people who are in the architecture field. We originally sort of saw this as a capstone degree for our architecture students, and it's really evolved into something much bigger than that. I like this model a little better. It's obviously much more complicated. You have to think about the economics, the social equity, the environmental resources, but they have to be economically viable, and they have to be local and regional in their approach. So we've tried to use this as somewhat of our model. On the first day of class this year, our first class started in June. We told the students they would hear 1,000 different definitions of sustainability over the year, and that it was their job to figure out what their definition was. So everything has been thrown at them, and they're in the process of figuring it out. So we've introduced them to quite a few different types of projects. To us, sustainability includes economics. So we talk about economic development, we talk about tax credits and financing, we talk about bikes and transportation, we talk about urban density. This was from our summer trip to DC and New York. This is a project here in New Orleans, the first LEED Silver project after the storm. And it used both historic tax credits and film tax credits, the second line stages, which was by a local architect. Little shout out to FX Val. I didn't know you were going to be here, Guy, but the Lincoln Center North Plaza, Juilliard in New York, we thought was a really great project. These are the kind of things we look at in terms of sustainability, viability, dual, triple use kinds of spaces. Obviously the High Line in New York, Diller Scofidio and James Corner is a great economic driver for the west side of Manhattan. So this is our curriculum and some pictures of our program. It's a one-year program, starts in the summer. We call it a boot camp in the summer. Our students come from a variety of backgrounds. This year we had an architecture grad from our school here, several urban planners, an MBA, a finance major, a physics major who'd been working in real estate for a while. Across the board, we had people from every walk. So we had some people who were strong in finance, some people were strong in design. We used the summer to kind of level the playing field. So the first 6 weeks of the program, they get an introduction to real estate finance and economics, an introduction to sustainable design, and an introduction to New Orleans architecture, some of which is sustainable, some of which is not. And then in the last week, last year, we went to DC and New York. We had a lot of great partners. I'm not sure you can read that down on the bottom right, but we had an incredible support from industry, including FX Val, Forest City Ratner, US Green Building Council, Enterprise Community Partners, Neighborhood Housing Services from here and all over the country, helped us put together this amazing trip where the students met with developers, architects, planners, city agencies working in sustainability, contractors all over. It was a pretty intense trip. And then they come back in the fall, and most of these programs have 4 core courses: sustainable design, or design in most cases, real estate finance, legal issues, and real estate economics. And so we've tried to weave through those 4 courses sustainability. So we talk about tax credits and all of the subsidized financing. We added a seminar called Public-Private Partnerships, where we actually introduce a lot of the TIFs and bonds and other kinds of programs that are so prevalent now in the world of building. We also have a 2-semester program in case studies in sustainable real estate, where they just run cases. They work in teams a lot in this program, and they just run cases and run the financing to get used to the idea of looking at these projects both financially, sustainably, and comprehensively. And then finally, this semester, they have one elective, which they've been exposed to construction techniques from Byron and more finance from the business school, to we have a business and real estate finance course, or business of real estate course in this program that we brought in a lot of great speakers. And they've sort of spread out all over the place based on their interest and background. And finally, the research piece has been really exciting, and I actually think has been a follow-through from our relationships we created starting this program. All of the students are working with partners in the industry on a research topic. We invited people to propose research topics all over the country. We got over 30. So these are some of the students in action. This is a project from their real estate finance class. One of the students proposed historic tax credits to renovate one of the theaters downtown. One of our speakers, they all had to present on sustainable materials early in the summer. These are the different research projects that they've all selected for the semester. So as you can see on the right, we have some pretty amazing partners. We're pretty excited about the support we've gotten: Terrapin Bright Green, New York Housing Authority, Perkins & Wells, Sterling, Forest City Ratner, New Orleans Redevelopment Authority. So we'll see how they come out, but so far so good. And then we've also been really involved in engagement. We started a lecture series called Sustainability and Globalization. We joined forces with the World Trade Center of New Orleans and University of New Orleans to bring in all things sustainable, and that started last semester. We've had a lot of different conversations about housing the homeless, we had a representative who was on Obama's EPA sustainability, it was actually called the Globalization Task Force. We had Dudley Street Neighborhood Initiative came down from Boston to talk about their community development techniques to revive the Roxbury neighborhood of Boston. And then just recently, we were co-sponsors with ULI Louisiana on a conference they call it What's Really Going On, which is a silly name, but we underscored that with commercial corridor redevelopment. And we brought in some great speakers and had some great conversations about New Orleans and developing our commercial corridors with retail consultants and conscious economic development. And so this is our class. This was from this summer. This is the Lafitte redevelopment that Enterprise Community Partners in Providence have been developing in the Lafitte area, which is not far from Iberville, which is the one that's now up for redevelopment. So that kind of is my whole story. So thank you very much for coming, and I look forward to your questions.